Hi everyone, this week's Parshat is Parshat Vetchanan. I hope you all had a very easy and meaningful Tisha B'Av, and coming out of Tisha B'Av and actually coming back from Israel the day before, there's a lot going through my mind right now. And one focal point that has really carried through all of my experiences over the past few weeks and within the past day throughout Tisha B'Av has been this constant reoccurrence of the one-liner that sums up Judaism in a nutshell. And that comes from this week's Parsha, and everyone knows it. It's Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Right? Hear, O Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, right? Hashem is our God, Hashem Echad. There's one God, or Hashem is, or there's one God, or Hashem is the one God. Depending on how you read it, a lot of Mefarshim, a lot of the commentary says it's both, that there is only one God, and Hashem is our God. But this line keeps coming up over and over and over again. And we saw in the keynote, in all of these poems that we read over Tisha B'Av, that in the highest of high times and in the lowest of lows, the common theme is everyone, all of Jewish people throughout millennia have been saying this verse, Shema Yisrael. Now, I just came back from Israel from this amazing trip where we took a bunch of public school teenagers to Israel, many for the first time. And so many of these teenagers did not even know this verse of Shema. And to me, that kind of struck me. I've been around a lot of different types of Jews my entire life, but most have had some sort of background enough that they knew the Shema when they went to sleep at night, or when they went to Hebrew school or summer camp or something like that. They got taught this verse, the Shema. And I realized that many of these teenagers didn't understand the importance of this one verse that really sums up our religion in one, that we believe Hashem is one, is our God, and therefore God is giving us instruction manual on how to live life, and therefore we should follow it. So I told over the famous story of Rabbi Herzog, when he was going around to all the DP camps and the monasteries and the churches after the Holocaust to go seek out Jewish children. And I asked all these teenagers, I said, how would you go find Jewish children after World War II, after the Holocaust, and try singling them out from groups of other children? And they said, I don't know, maybe, they gave some crazy answers, maybe check for a bris milah, or start quoting the Torah, this, that. I was like, well, the Torah's on the right answer, this, that. But what verse do you think they'd say, right? To sum up the Torah, to try finding these kids. And no one had any idea. Then I explained that Rav Herzog explained in a lot of writings that he'd go into all these places and he'd say the Shema. And all of a sudden you'd start hearing wails and screeches, mommy, daddy, tati, all these different things. And that's how he know that this is a Jewish child. And it's in Judaism we say saving a life is like saving an entire world, and that's exactly what he was able to do, saving so many Jewish children and bringing them back to their roots, back to their religion. So it's a very simple message. This week I'm not going so into the weeds of the actual verse, into the actual parsha, but I think just given all of my experiences and of Tisha B'Av, that really the greatest destruction that we've seen from the destruction of the temple until now is all of these teenagers, all of these Jews that are scattered around the world that don't even know. They know they're Jewish, but they don't know what being Jewish really means. They don't even know the Shema. So I give a bracha to everyone that you don't need to know all of Torah to go help and try teaching Judaism to other people, right? It's a very famous teaching by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. If you know Aleph, teach Aleph, right? If you know anything, you could teach it over. You could give it over to someone else. So even Shema is such a focal message. I implore you all to give it over to someone who might not know it, and who knows, maybe it will change their life. And with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.